Everyone, hi. Bruce Mufson, LCSW, coming at you with another video breakdown from SUNRIDGE, Nevada. I just want to explain again what's happened to us the last couple of months. We had problems with our last channel, so we created a new channel. So we're no longer SUNRIDGE of Nevada. We are now officially SUNRIDGE, Nevada. And we want you to still leave your comments. We want you to still leave us with any questions that you have. And as always, all the information for what we're doing is going to be in our description box. Okay, a little bit about myself. I've been doing this now for over 25 years as a licensed clinical social worker. I went to the University of Georgia, where I received my master's in social work. I then did a 2-year postmaster's program where I amassed several thousand hours to take the national exam, and I've been licensed ever since. I have worked with literally thousands of individuals from 3 to 83, and I've done also thousands of assessments, and my primary practice, a way of getting to work with people, is doing home visits. However, I've also worked in office, I've gone to prisons, I have testified in court hundreds of times about people's mental health in front of juries and in front of law enforcement and in front of the judge himself to give a better understanding of what this person's dealing with. At the same time as well, to maintain my license, I have to take 36 what's called CEUs, which are basically credits, every 2 years to maintain my license. So what I'm going to do right now is the second song in Kendrick Lamar's latest album, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, and the song is called N95. So here we go. I like the fact, and I've said this before, what I really find amazing about these artists is how versatile they are and the different ways of singing and styling and how musically talented they are. And Kendrick, once again, does not disappoint. Because in the intro, and let me clarify one last thing again, I'm going to break down only bits and pieces of the song that I find clinically relevant so you can follow along with me as I do that. So right now I'm focusing on the intro, and it goes like this. Hello, new world, all the boys and girls. I got some true stories to tell. You're back outside, but they're still alive. Whoa, yeah. Now, I'm not doing justice, of course, to his voice, but reason why I'm singing that out loud versus just talking it is because it's almost like a pop song to me, how he just starts off very breezy, very nonchalant. It's almost like, who is this person doing the singing? But it's a way to lull you into the impact of how he wants the rest of the song to go. Like a pop jingle, bright and breezy, so versatile. And his musical styles are just so interesting to me. All right, now, verse 1, he goes, take off the foo-foo, take off the cloud chase, take off the Wi-Fi, take off the money phone, take off the car loan, take off the flex and the white lies, take off the weird-ass jewelry, I'm taking 10 steps and I'm taking off top 5. Take off them fabricated streams and then microwave memes, it's a real world outside. Now, before we begin with verse 1, what is this talking about, take it off, take it off? He's referring to the N95 mask that was very, very popular and billions were used around the world. And the idea is that, we live with that mask on our face, and it created so many issues socially and emotionally and mentally that you walked around and the people you interacted with were wearing masks. So in a sense, you didn't really get a chance to see the real you because you were hidden behind that mask. Now, I believe that was his original intent, to talk about the mask usage, but then it becomes more personal and it becomes more about him and his response, taking off his own individual mask and really revealing who is the true Kendrick to himself, to his fans as well, of course, but also to himself. Take it off, take it off, take it off. And it was just so interesting to me, just on a clinical level, how putting on a mask changed so many interactions that we once had taken for normal that now were altered tremendously. So what he's saying to me is take it off, take it off. Take off the things that don't matter and are a complete waste of time for you. Because you're only happy when you learn to be truly happy with yourself. Kendrick has learned this. And what he's basically saying is, I have to make some changes. I had to make some changes. He sees what today's obsession is with the internet and what it's done to people. You know, he goes like this: take off them streams and them microwave memes. It's a real world outside. That's a classic insight, and it's very intelligent because as a social worker, how many times do I tell people and told people during COVID, get out of that room. Don't spend 6 hours on TikTok. Don't spend 8 hours playing the latest video game, just not interacting with the world outside. I mentioned this multiple times on other videos. First thing I always ask people, what do you do with your day? What do you do with your free time? And if I hear I'm in my room, and I'm not outside, red flag, warning signs, bells and whistles start to go off. So he's saying, stop being fake, start to be real with yourself. And then he goes further, still on verse 1. Take off the fake deep. Take off the fake woke. Take off the I'm broke, I care. Take it off. Take off the gossip. Take off the new logic that if I'm rich, I'm rare, that I'm somebody because I have money. Take it off. Take off the Chanel. Take off the Dolce. Take off the Birkin bag. Take it off. Take all that designer blank off, and what do you have? Metaphorically, getting naked. You know, it's interesting to me about the symbolism of the song also, because once again, he is on top of water, which is to me always a cleanser. That's how it's used a lot. And he's wearing the white, and he's giving almost like a godlike performance of who people have seen him as. But the white and the water symbolism just screams out at me. And he puts it all together. Take it all off, because what does it really mean in the end? Are you going to be buried with your possessions? And what you have is the real me. Take off that designer blank off, and what do you have? What you have is the real me. And you're not hiding behind a logo to define yourself. And so often we do that with the clothing that we wear, with the language that we use, with the persona that we make. And unfortunately, a lot of times it begins to affect us. Oh, I'm so deep into being a tough guy that I can't even look in the mirror and realize I'm not a tough guy. But because I have to be like a tough guy, I ruin my life. I don't want to do drugs. I don't want to do alcohol. I don't want to be in stupid relationships. But that's my persona. That's how I'm defined. This is how people look at me on the internet. I got to stick to that. And what does that do? You chasing your tail. You're like in a maze. You run around that wheel, and what do you have to show for it? In the end, nothing. Now I'm going to go forward, leap a little bit, and I'm going to go to verse 3. All right, the end of verse 3, and it goes like this. Where are the hypocrites at? What community feel they are the only ones relevant? Let's go. This is the end of verse 3. And what he's saying is, everyone now today has a culture of, I'm the victim. I need all the acclaim. No one else for anyone else. I'm the one that's hurting. And what he's saying is, no. Stop being like an individual. Be someone that relates to everybody, because we're all in this together. My actions affect other people. Your actions affect other people. Stop with like, I'm walling myself off. I'm not part of it. If one thing the virus did teach us is that it affected everybody. Everyone was affected by what took place. You weren't isolated from the situation. We are all in this together. And the more we realize that, the better we're going to be and the better the world will be. Now, I'm going to go to the outro right now. You out of pocket, you out of pocket. You entertain the mediocre, need to stop it. You entertaining old friends when they toxic. What's your life like? Blank and gossip. Great lines, one after the other. And I really liked his lyrics and how he just layers it on top of each other. Yeah, you're out of it. You're out of it. You're out of it. Get away from the losers and go higher. Yeah, that's what he's trying to say here. Stay away from people that are poison to you. And what has your life turned into? And what have you become? I love that line about you entertain the mediocre. You entertain old friends when they're toxic. Yeah, we get into habits that we think that this is normal when it's not normal. It's not appropriate and it's self-destructive to us. Entertain the mediocre. God, it's so true. One of the things that separates me from all the other clinicians out there is when I have a session with somebody and they say I'm depressed, I have anxiety, I'm anxious. I'm like, yeah, the way you're describing your life, who wouldn't be? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about your life to get away from the mediocre and the boring and the toxicity? Are you going to go to, yeah, I just had a woman today say to me, she left, she's moving on. She goes to me, you inspired me to go to graduate school. You inspired me. I didn't know what I wanted, and you kept on hounding me. You're too smart for this. You're too bright for this. What are you going to do with your life? And I finally picked nursing school, and she said, when I told you that, you said, good move, good job. That's the important thing of counseling. What separates the mediocre counselors, the mediocre therapists from Bruce Mufson is that when you walk out of there, you're going to be like 12 rounds with Floyd Mayweather. Bless his heart, you're not fighting anymore. That's what you're going to get. Because you're going to walk out there saying, wow, I didn't walk in there for what I thought I was going to walk out with, but he gave me a plan, and he gave me a direction, and he gave me a focus. What are you going to do with your life? Take it off. Take it off. Take off all the pretense and get real with not the people around you who could care less about you, quite frankly, but yourself. Okay. Now, and then in the end of the song, that ain't protocol. Again, you have the water, you have the white. He's so big on symbolism when you really look at the song on different levels. Here's what I want to bring up, and I want to conclude with this. When you get old enough, and listen, I had to learn this the hard way myself. 59, I made so many mistakes in my life till I got to the point of clarity this past year. I'm sorry it took me till I was 59. You come to the realization that's not necessarily what you have, but who do you have in your life? Who is important to you? It's like throwing a pebble in the pond and you watch the waves ripple out, and the first waves are tight and they're hard and they're thick. But as the waves go out, they get wider and wider and they have less intensity. They mean less and less, meaning the ones closest are the most meaningful and the most important. And the ones outside mean less and less, like most possessions. They're just items. They're not important. And they fade into nothingness. We focus far too much on the outer and far less on the inner. Learn to spend time with the people that matter to you and have meaningful experiences and relationships with them. I just spoke to a person today, and I said to this person, I said, when you leave here, how many people are you going to stay in contact with? Person went like this to me, like, I said, you don't have to say anymore. 0. Who's important to you? Your family. You're not going to stay in touch with anybody here. So get what you can out of a job, but remember who's really important to you. Okay? And the important thing is you have meaningful experiences with the people that you love and care about. What does Kendrick learn to do? He's learned to look behind the curtain like Wizard of Oz. Something we all need to do to truly be happy and to love ourselves for who we are and not for other people, and to go through all these motions and gyrations. He realized people saw him literally as God, and he is not God. What is he? He's Kendrick. He's a human being, and he has the right to figure that out for himself. My question to everyone is, what makes you truly happy? And I want you to do that in the comment section when we get them. Now with the new site, SUNRIDGE, Nevada, I can answer comments back. So it's going to go back to the old days. So SUNRIDGE, Nevada, shoot me comments. What makes you truly happy? And when did you finally realize you were living a facade and you were faking yourself out to truly get to inner realization of who you are and what makes you happy and who do you want to be happy with? Remember this, guys. When you finally realize who you are and not who you're not, 800-pound gorilla goes off your shoulders, and that's when you begin to truly experience happiness. Thanks again for watching. Bruce Mufson, LCSW, SUNRIDGE of Nevada. Sorry, I'm still making a mistake. SUNRIDGE, Nevada. Looking forward to your comments.